Have you ever noticed you can be kind, supportive, helpful, easy to talk to, but still feel like people are not fully seeing the real you? Like part of you stays guarded, part of you stays careful, part of you is always monitoring. How am I being received right now? And maybe you've become so used to adjusting yourself around other people, you don't even realize how often you're doing it. Now, today I want to talk about why some people feel emotionally unsafe while being fully themselves around others. Not because they're fake, not because they're difficult, not because something is wrong with them, but because at some point their nervous system learned being fully seen did not always feel emotionally safe. So if you ever found yourself filtering what you say, hiding parts of your personality, overthinking how you become or how you come across, feeling more relaxed alone than around other people, struggling to fully let your guard down, or feeling emotionally exposed when you're truly yourself. Now, this conversation may explain more than you realize. I'd like to welcome everyone. I'm Janine Naus, a grief and trauma relief specialist, and this is another Healing Step session where we gently increase awareness around emotional patterns many people learned early in life without fully understanding why. Now, today's topic is why do I feel unsafe being fully myself around other people? And I want to approach this gently because many people learn to hide parts of themselves long before they realize they were doing it. And one of the things trauma can quietly create is emotional self protection. And then sometimes that protection would look like staying quiet, becoming agreeable, being careful what you share, reading the room constantly, avoiding conflict, hiding emotions, becoming whoever feels safest in the moment. Now, for many people, this started early. Maybe expressing yourself led to criticism. Maybe emotions were dismissed. Maybe vulnerability felt risky. Maybe being different didn't feel accepted. Maybe someone's reactions felt unpredictable. So your nervous system adapted. It learned, be careful, stay aware, don't fully expose yourself emotionally. And then over time, that protection can become automatic. So automatic, many people don't realize how much of themselves they keep hidden around others. Now, many people who feel unsafe being fully themselves, they also spend a lot of energy monitoring themselves socially. So you may notice replaying conversations afterward, or worrying how you came across, or adjusting your personality depending on who you're around, or becoming quieter in groups, or hiding your opinions, or even downplaying your emotions, or feeling emotionally exposed after opening up. And sometimes you may not even know who the real you fully is anymore because so much energy has gone towards adapting. This is especially common for people who learned being accepted depended on staying emotionally careful. So instead of feeling relaxed around others or part of the nervous system, learn how to stay alert. It was watching, monitoring, adjusting. And this can become exhausting internally because it's difficult to feel emotionally free when part of you is constantly managing how you're being perceived. Now, sometimes people become so skilled at adapting socially, others have no idea how much inner tension they carry. Often underneath this pattern is fear, fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of judgment, fear of conflict, fear of disappointing people, fear of being misunderstood, fear of becoming too much. And when these fears exist, being fully yourself can feel emotionally risky, even in safe environments. because the nervous system is not always responding to the present moment. Sometimes it's responding to older emotional experiences that taught being careful, showing who you really are. It's about being, trying to be careful. So many people slowly begin shrinking parts of themselves socially, not intentionally, proactively. Maybe they stop speaking up. Maybe they stop sharing ideas. Maybe they stop expressing emotions openly. Maybe they become highly agreeable. Maybe they laugh things off while carrying discomfort internally. And over time, this can create a quiet sense of emotional loneliness because people may know the adapted version of you without fully knowing the real you underneath. And many people don't realize how deeply tiring that becomes. Healing often begins with awareness, not forcing yourself to suddenly become fully open with everyone, not pushing yourself emotionally faster than your nervous system can handle, but gently noticing where I do stop myself from being me. That awareness matters. See, because many people have spent years automatically adjusting themselves around others without even realizing it. So, one gentle practice that can help is noticing when your body shifts into self protection socially. So, notice, do you become quieter? Do you over explain? Do you become overly agreeable? Do you start monitoring reactions? Do you stop expressing your real thoughts? Noticing these patterns without criticizing yourself creates understanding. And then slowly, many people begin creating safer relationships with themselves first. Because feeling safe being yourself externally often begins with feeling safer with yourself internally. And then over time, people begin learning they don't have to abandon themselves emotionally in order to stay connected to others. So today, I simply want you to notice something gently. How often do you adjust yourself around other people without even realizing it? How often does your nervous system move into monitoring instead of relaxing? How often do you hold back parts of yourself because somewhere inside it still feels emotionally safer to stay guarded? Awareness of this pattern matters because many people spent years believing something was wrong with them when really their nervous system learned to protect them emotionally. And understanding that can begin changing the relationship you have with yourself. I want to thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this conversation resonated with you, feel free to share in the comments what part stood out to you the most. And if you'd like additional support and conversations like this, you're always welcome inside my Bridge to Healing community. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.